Now, what benefits do these exercises give us? They produce a stronger influx of blood to the solar plexus, revitalizing it and strengthening the surrounding muscles. All these things are indispensable, practical steps for some lower astral attainments, about which we will read more later. If respiratory exercises play the role of food for an impulsive and animistic man, then perfumes will assume an incentive role for him. I will limit myself only to the basic perfumes as used in magic. There are 3 types which form a ternary. Incense, which is the positive pole of the ternary, including mystical moods and readiness to pray. It also purifies the physical and astral atmospheres, providing a suitable incense is burnt, like the good varieties used in churches, the more expensive being preferred, or the excellent Indian sticks, the best qualities of which are also more expensive. 2. Musk, the middle element of this ternary, affects the animistic realm of love and sentiment in a man. 3. Tobacco smoke is the negative pole of the ternary. For those who do not smoke and therefore have no habitual resistance to the poisonous elements in tobacco, its smoke provides some brief excitement and later produces an instinctive reaction in the form of sleepiness. If one cannot defy the habit of smoking, occult knowledge gives us some hints, which permit the harm to be diminished. Papus, who was also a doctor in a famous Paris hospital, recommended that people working in the intellectual sphere should use light types of tobacco in the form of cigarettes. To those of a more sensual, animistic nature, cigars, and those who labor, a pipe. B. Now we come to a description and analysis of a type of man other than the animistic and impulsive one, the intellectual one. In the superphysical realm, his food will assist him in the following ways. 1. To live in surroundings that are non-exciting and that will not suppress any normal ethical judgments, and to avoid asymmetrical forms and inharmonious colors. Rather, to try to be surrounded by artistic things. 2. To learn and to exercise, even automatically, self-possession in moments of danger or unrest. 3. Not to support in ourselves, by our impulsive reactions, those allergies and antipathies which are innate in us in the realms of feelings, tastes, and smells. For example, if the smell of garlic is repulsive to you, then satisfy yourself, at least, if you cannot yet suppress the allergy altogether, with only astral aversion, such as knitting the brows, but do not allow yourself to recoil painfully at the sight of garlic, or at the mere sound of its name. An incentive for the intellectual type of man will be suitably chosen music. Here, we can give an example of an analogous ternary which can influence its surroundings. During a rote match or even in battle, I am speaking here of the pre-atomic age, a brave tune may strongly influence soldiers by its impulsively mental actions. For an animistic type of man, the most suitable magic would be the waltzes or even light operas, while for a purely mental man, in the majority of cases, the most pleasant will be chamber music. Although the theory of Hermetism is essentially for its study, I believe that the exposition of most of the occult matter, which has an affinity with the arcana, and known to this generation of men, should be planned in accordance with the scheme of the tarot. From this comes the system of lessons as used in this work. It has shown itself to be the most reliable and effective, not merely for a short-lived intellectual pleasure, which is almost useless, but for the assimilation of the traditional truth of the philosophical system of Hermetism, which has nothing to equal it from the point of view of adaptability, depth, and profit which it gives to every earnest student. C. But at this point, do not let us be mistaken, for, when expressing superlatives about the tarot, I am speaking on philosophical, that is mental, grounds, and not of the purely spiritual realm. Spirituality, when realized, is far beyond the reach of any ordinary mental or intellectual matters. But the number of human beings, in this our own epoch, who might be able to raise their consciousness to the Himalayan heights of the spiritual life consciousness is infinitesimal, and nothing can change that fact. Therefore, it is justifiable to give to the vast majority, for their present degree of evolution, something suitable and useful and at the same time accessible and easily digested, even if it is not the ultimate spiritual doctrine. Surely, you would not expect a 7-year-old boy to know about things belonging to mature and highly educated people. So far as one still lives in relativity, the time-space-material body, relative things are the most understandable. But let these relative things be as good and useful as possible, and correspond foremostly to man's intellectual and ethical problems. It is in order to contribute something to that end that this book has been written, having taken many years of work for its completion.